Right, everybody, welcome to the 10th episode of AmEveryGolfer. And unfortunately, I need to tell you, well, it's probably fortunate for me and Alan. Mark isn't here because he has to look after his own business. So it's just me and the big man talking a lot of nonsense about golf. He's already said how obsessed I am about golf.
No, I called you a golf pervert.
That's the absolute truth, right? So I have asked already. I can talk about anything. You said it's a free go, didn't you?
Go for it.
Right, go for it. 17 plus 2 and the Scottish boys at Dunbar. I want to know about that first.
Well, do you know...
Are you impressed I've got this written down straight away?
I'm actually... You've done your homework. I like that. Listen, 17-year-old plus 2, that, you know, you're talking, 37 odd years ago.
He's not counting his school years there,
I probably missed out a few. But yeah, that was good then, Gary. But see now, I mean, you know, I've got a wee 14-year-old pal. I got a lot of golf with him. Play with his dad, Aidan Lawson. Absolute superstar. Remember the name.
Club?
Well, he's a member at Bruntsfield in Edinburgh.
Nice.
He's there.
Bruntsfield Links is good.
Aye, and he's also got junior memberships at North Berwick and Gullen. He gets them for like a tenner a year and stuff. Amazing.
A tenner?
Aye, amazing. Honestly, fantastic what they do. So anyway, I've been watching Aidan grow up since he was 3-year-old, and I knew about 6, 7, 8-year-old. I said to his dad, I think you've got something special there, and it's very difficult to tell at 6, 7, 8 years old. It's very difficult.
A big claim to make as well.
Absolutely. But he's amazing, and he's 14. I think he'll be 15 this month, and he's playing off +3, and it's absolutely incredible. He hits the ball great. He's got the whole game.
Distance,
hits it miles. You know, I'm not the longest, but I'm no shortest. And the last time I played with him, that was down at Irvine Bogside about
good course.
Very good course. Played there about a month ago. And I was hitting the driver pretty good that day, and he was comfortably 25, 30 past me every hole.
How quick were you to kick him?
I've kicked him a few times over the years. He's taken enough fivers off me over the years. I used to play him as a wee boy and give him a stroke a hole, and I'm now looking at him going,
no chance.
I think you're giving Tatey a stroke, wee man. Come on, still call him wee man. He's my height now, but
at 14?
Aye. Oh, he's a strap lad. Oh, he's into the gym and all that.
I was the height of nonsense at 14. I was off a 5.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
To be fair, I had never heard of plus golfer when I was a kid.
Did you not?
Never?
No.
We got Gary Orr down to Cobbles when we played in the team. He came down to do our coaching session.
Right.
And it wasn't Sam at the time. I can't remember who was a pro.
Right.
I'd be lying. I said to him, what handicap were you as a kid? And he said +4. And we were all like,
aye, never heard that before. Aye.
Who's that boy?
Aye, I know what you mean. But as I say, me at 17 +2, I look back at that now, and then, I was regarded at 16, 17 a bit of a boy wonder.
You weren't half.
Right? But and a 17-year-old Alan Tate now playing a 14-year-old Aidan Lawson, I couldn't.
Did you beat?
100%.
Seriously?
100%. Couldn't live with a wee man. So albeit I was a good player at that age, when I look how the game's changed and everything else. Aye, everything else.
Do you think that would have helped you then? If you, with your ability back then, and I'm not blowing smoke up your kilt, because when I was a kid and we played golf, it was hard. It was easier to shape the ball, but it was also harder to control the ball. I know that's a bit sycophantic.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because if I went, I play with a baby fade, we'll call it.
So
right, it's staying there, right? It's not a slice shot. But if I hit that really poorly, I know, like we were talking about, like a Dunlop DDH.
Persimmon wood.
It would have been a boomerang.
The spin's exaggerated on it.
More modern tech would have helped you. Should you would have been about +4 then?
Well,
maybe you would have given him a game.
Maybe. It's all relative.
I'll take that 20 quid later.
Well, you could turn that in its head and say, how would Aidan have got on at 7, back in the day with Ballata balls and persimmon wood. So, it's all relative. It's a moment in time, the equipment at that time, and what was going on around you. So, but no, I was very, very proud. And I was very, very proud to win the Scottish boys, to win a national titles.
Proud shouldn't be the word, mate. That's incredible.
I was. And I've won a lot of prestigious things over the years.
Did you play at?
Dunbar. Aye, and I love Dunbar.
Jackie Montgomery there now?
Jackie's been there a long time, so he's the kind of head pro stroke general manager now. Jackie does a bit of everything. But the Scottish boys was great back then, guys. At that time, it was sponsored by STV. And do you remember Scott Sport on the Sunday?
Loved Scott Sport.
So the 36-hole final was on the Saturday with Arthur Montford, dear old Arthur, walking around doing a bit of commentary. And then on the Sunday,
with his lovely coat,
his brown tartan breeks and all that. And then the Sunday, you would get the Scottish game, and then there would be a bit of sport in the middle, and then they would have another game. So won the Scottish boys on the Saturday, just over the moon, and get back to Irvine Bogside that night. Big party.
Did you have a small sherry?
Well, I wasn't a huge...
Was you a shandy boy? You'd have been a shandy at 17?
It was,
a Diane Brew?
Lager tops, maybe. And then Saturday on the Sunday, surreal, sitting with mum and dad in the living room, watching whatever football it was on. And then on comes Ian Archer, and there was about 10, 12 minutes of the highlights of Dunbar the day before.
Who did you beat?
It was a guy called Jun Mun from Turnhouse.
And off Edinburgh?
Aye.
And what's he doing with now, do you know?
Jun's had an amazing story. He kind of fell out of love with the game, so he turned pro kind of same time as me. Played a little bit of assistants golf in Scotland, Scottish PJs and all the rest of it, and then he just disappeared off the planet. And he went and worked abroad and stuff, but he more or less gave up golf. He didn't even have clubs. And then at 45, he got his amateur status back, and I met him for
the PJ took that long to give it back, didn't they?
And I met him for a pint in Leith, and we got chatting, and he said something, and I said, "What do you mean you're playing?" And he said, "I've just got my amateur status back." He said, "I've got a long-term plan." And I says, "What is it, Ewan?" And he says, "Well, I'm playing full time, and I'm going to start playing in top amateur events. And the plan is that in 4 or 5 years' time, hopefully when I've maybe got Walker Cup and Scottish caps and all that." And I'm standing there and I'm looking at him saying, "Wee man, what have you been taking?" I said, "You've been away for golf too long. What are you?" I said, "Do you realise what you're up against now? You're 45, 46. And he says, "And the plan is I'm going to try and do all the amateur stuff. And then at 50, I'm going to turn pro and try and get my seniors tour card." And unbelievably,
He's never done it.
3 years later, he won the Scottish Amateur, age 49. And he won another couple of events, got his Scottish cap, just missed out in Walker Cup. And he went 14, 15 years without hitting a ball. Then he goes to the senior qualifying school, which, by the way, is tougher to get your senior card than it is to get your European Tour card.
That's not San Roque, is it?
No, that was the European Tour. This is European Senior. So it was over in Portugal. And you've got about 200-300 guys entering. And at the end of the first qualifying, second qualifying, blah, 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 there's only 5 cards up for grabs. And you're up against guys that have been on the European Tour for 20, 25 years. You're up against ex-Ryder Cup players, whatever. Folk keep saying to me, "Why do you not go on the senior tour?" Well, we can't get on it. You need to be a pro,
Do you not think you're good enough? Or too much time invested?
I would need to change. I would honestly, so the school's end of January, I would honestly have to prepare for about 2 years. I would need to change my lifestyle, go to the gym, be practicing every day. You would absolutely need to do everything. And then there's no guarantee you're going to get one of 5 cards anyway. You could get there and shoot 78 the first round, that's you home. And you're thinking 2 years of work can change my lifestyle.
Is the hotel all inclusive just in case you don't qualify? That's all right, innit?
Stay on for a week in the beach. So Ewan's, and he played in the US Senior Open last week, just missed the cup by a couple. So he's been an amazing comeback story. So
I would love to try. I would love to try. I mean, I'm not good enough, no by a long ways. I played with a guy called Darren Wright on the Europro.
Right.
He was Walker Cup.
Right.
And I played with him at Rowallan Castle.
Oh, aye.
The first 3 holes, it was biblical, as in horizontal lane. It was terrible. And he was still smashing this thing like frozen rope. And I'm like, that's just no all right. Do you know what I mean? He's maybe 50 yards ahead. And I don't think I'm short. I'm 280.
Yeah.
Generally, I'm no 300, that's for damn sure.
Where did you play, Gary?
I did play at Marhall, but this is the first year I've not been a member.
Right.
I'm one of those people I don't like as a car park golfer.
Okay. I was there last week.
Marhall, I've seen the pictures.
Aye, and they're about to spend...
No, that I'm stalking you.
No. It's so you keep saying. And it's brilliant what they're doing there, because the place, it was a crying shame. I mean, do you know how many greenkeepers they had for the last 2 years?
Oh, they went down to 2.
They were down to 1. They had
one Gary.
They were 1 greenkeeper for about 18
Great
months.
Name.
How can you run a golf course with 1 person?
You can't. So I'm in absolute agreement with you. I'll tell you why I joined, right? So me and my wife went down to stay.
Yeah.
And in the morning she got up and went to the spa and done her stuff, and I had my clubs in my car, and I thought, I'm just going to get a knock while you're going to do what you're doing.
You're not going to the spa with that body, are you?
No. This is definitely made for radio. What are you laughing at? You're the only on my side in here.
You get thrown out the spa.
The black. What is it? A rubber suit you've got on there, pal? I went out and played golf, and it just suited my fade.
Aye.
I was like, right, okay, I'm
your power fade.
My power fade, big man, 4 yards.
Yeah. Aye.
All right. Stop sniggering. So I thought I'm going to join.
Yeah.
So I said then it was
beautiful.
Ricardo Scarafile.
Right, yeah. That's
So
right.
Ricardo was there, and Jamie Darling, who likes Diary.
Yeah.
Amazing guy, and what a website that is, to be fair. Sorry, Jamie, I told you I wouldn't do a plug. So I joined, and then I went on a run. 72, 71, 70s, and I shot a 64 for the back tees, and I was like, really like this. And I got to when I joined there, I was +3.
Right.
So you think a bit of a ticket is in late 30s, early 40s, and I'm like, I'm going to get a crack. I'm going to play. I'm going to play that. So Dan Gordon was a Europro guy at the time.
Remember Dan. Yeah.
So I emailed Dan and spoke to Dan. I says, look, I'll pay my fee. I'm playing as an amateur. When I win, don't pay me. LOL, obviously. So I played and at my golf course, and I was shocking. It was Malcolm Isaac. Paul Lawrie signed him. And Dan Wright and Dan, they were just incredible.
You saw the difference in golf.
Miles, by the way. Miles. I started like a train day. The first hole, I was on the leaderboard because I got a birdie and I was number 1. The second hole, I got a double and I'm doing about 20th.
It doesn't take much to get down that leaderboard.
No. They stood in the 4th tee. Malcolm Isaac cut a rescue 30 yards by my driver. And I
Malcolm
thought,
was a good player. I don't know where he is. I think he went abroad.
He is abroad. So quiet, but so steady.
Good player,
And what I liked about him, he didn't just stand and smash driver. He always pulled his rescue 3 wood out. And to be fair, he was long enough. And my hole's long for the normal everyday golfer. But for they guys, different gravy. And it became a standard joke when the weed markers were at the trees, sitting down waiting to score. Just put us down for 3 bogeys, pal.
I'll make it simple for you.
I'll just leave it there. Level 5s were playing today. So I did that. But I played with Dan. And Dan said, he then qualified for Europro to the Challenge Tour. Right. I don't know what he's doing, but he was Walker Cup. But he said that level is, hitting 500 golf balls a day and playing golf every week. Just forget it. Because my caddy was my mate, obviously. And he unbeknown to me, kind of tripped there to Dan while he was walking. But that's neck.
Absolutely.
We drank to the wee man. And he said, decent golfer, by the way. But not at this level.
Decent golfer to win the club championship.
Well, I did win the club championship at Mar Hall.
That's maybe your level.
And we're talking about that's undoubtedly my level. Talking about Mar Hall. So we played golf. The course was amazing. Great. The ball sat up in the fairway. Look at USG greens. Brilliant. But then, we wouldn't mention names, but 2 years later, the greens became a full cut machine, shot smaller. And that began to ring a couple of bells. And then, unfortunately, one of the greenkeepers took a heart attack. So they put a young guy called Gary done an amazing job, worked hard, was 5 of them. Then it went to 3, then it went to 2. And when I talked to my mates who are still members down there, they've said they've went for about 2.5, 3 years with 2 greenkeepers, then you've just said that.
They were down to 1.
But is it Saudis, isn't it?
I'm not there's private.
Sure Saudis.
There's 2 or 3. There's an asset management company involved. There's a couple of other.
Chris Queen that's the pro?
Chris McQueen.
Chris McQueen.
Yeah.
I love Marvel. I love it.
Yeah. So I met with Chris last week, but the plans that I've got are just fantastic. So it's going to be a 2 to 3 year plan, but I've seen the mood boards and what they're about to do is going to take it to an absolute new level, which is fantastic.
The rumour was, when we read the first article,
they're up to 6 greenkeepers now as well.
Are they? They want to be Glasgow's Glen Eagles, don't they?
Yeah.
I wonder what East Renner saying to that. Because that's what they call themselves, isn't it?
Listen, they could be a mini Glen Eagles with that amount of money. From what I've seen,
20 million in a hotel or something, about 4 or 5 in the course apparently.
Yeah.
Right, so what about you then? Well, so let me see. I want to jump back into you. I'm not going to have you down here.
He's back to stalking again. Back to stalking.
Top of the order of merit.
Yep.
What kind of commitment does that take? Because that's a season.
Well, so, I mean, the Order of Merit, that was what, 1996?
It's no stalking, it's just overly friendly.
96, I won the Tartan Tour of Scottish PGA Order of Merit. Back then, we had about 9 or 10 Order of Merit events.
Who was the biggest rival?
At that time, there was a few good players around then. Colin Brooks Colin was a really good player. Colin Gillis, stalwart of the Scottish PGA. Big Scotty Henderson, a good pal of mine. There was a lot of good players around then. Dean Robertson was playing a bit then as well.
Wow, what's he doing himself?
Dean's working. He looks after the team at Stirling, the golf teams there, the women.
Gary, the manager up there, isn't it?
Think so. Yeah. So he's at Stirling Uni. He's doing a great job, Dean. Right. He's so passionate. So Order of Merit was a great. played very consistently. Like I finished top 10 in each of the Order of Merits, which at that time was good going because they were all 72 holers.
You're underselling yourself, you big man.
No, well,
that's excellent. By
and then at the end of the season, I won the Scottish match play, which clinched the and then that got me an exemption straight to the finals European Tour School, which was great.
That was San Roque.
That was San Roque. Yeah.
How did you shoot? So apparently, if you don't shoot 20 under,
weather was tough that week. 6 rounds, 240 pros, 40 cards up for grabs. 6 rounds of golf.
Every day?
Sota Grande, aye. Yeah, 6 days in a row. So there was a 4-round cut. And I played great all week, hung in there. And that's, bearing in mind, this was my 6th time at the tour school. So it wasn't as if I hadn't been before.
Aye.
And I decided this was my last chance. I thought, I'm 26, and I know that's not old, but I just thought, you've not had it the first 5. You've not come close the first 5 years. So if you don't get it this time... No. So I thought, if you don't get it this time, that's it. Because it's expensive as well, chasing that dream, you know. And I played great that week. And going into the last rounds, I said earlier, it was top 40 to get their cards. And going into the last round, I was lying 19th, 20th, I'm comfortably. But that last round, you know, the first 9 holes was the worst I'd played all week.
Did you take a ride on the boogie train, did you?
I was just
nerves?
Aye, yeah, a bit of nerves and a wee bit of kind of just, you're so close, you just want to go over that finishing line now. And for the first time all week, I started playing a wee bit protective, and I should never have done that. I should just
were you shaking like a shitting dog?
I wouldn't say that, but I just tried to play too cautious first 9 holes, and I knocked it out in 40 or something. And I remember coming off the 9th green, and they had the big leaderboard up. And at the bottom of the leaderboard, it said projected 40th card, I think was +3 or +4, I can't remember. And I'm now on that mark. So I went from being comfortably in that. And I remember walking the 10th tee, and I said to my wee caddy, I need to get back to playing the way I've played for 5.5 rounds. Forget that front 9. I've played too cautious, and we need to play the best 9 holes I've ever played, and we need to just get on with this now. The nerves are gone now, because you're feeling a wee bit. I've kind of lost it a wee bit, and I played great in the back 9. I think I came back in 34 or 35, and I finished up 34th at the school. So I only made it by 1 in the end. Only made it by 1.
You make it as making it.
Well, I always say to people, anybody see folks say, "Oh, I was a failed tour player." No, you weren't. The fact you got on tour means you're a great player, or you've been a very good player. So do you know the percentage?
What would the percentage be of people trying as opposed to making it? Because you're saying there's 400 on for that.
Okay, well, I'll tell you a story. So after I get my tour card, we went back to San Roque in the first week in January. It was called Apollo Week. So Apollo sponsored this, and it was for all the rookies, and you attended for a 4 or 5 day, almost like it was brilliant. It was like a training course. One day you would spend with Sky Television doing mock videos, doing mock interviews. Another day you would spend in the gym. Another day you'd spend with a nutritionist. And they're basically preparing you for life on tour, right? And it was a brilliant thing to do.
Even back then?
Aye, fantastic. And they put you up free of charge. It was fantastic. But on the last day before we flew home, they said, we've got a special guest coming to see us today, boys, after lunch, blah, blah, and we're done now. You can have a few beers, go and have time, do whatever you want. And in walks Podrick Harrington. And Podrick Harrington came in. He's a very clever guy, very,
So data-driven accountant, isn't he?
Aye, yeah, very clever guy. And he came in, and he just spoke about life on tour and all the rest of it. And at the end of it, so you've got... Out of the rookies, there was probably 23, 24 of us at this, and then the rest are all seasoned pros, but they're not there. This is just for the rookies. And I remember at the end, Podrick Harrington said, "So guys, good luck to every one of you. It's a wonderful experience being on the European tour." He says, "But the bad news is, and I'm sorry to piss in your bonfires," he says, "but basically the stats," and he said, "I've already done my stats." He says, "But the people in this room, one of you, possibly 2, might make it."
My God.
And he was right. So out of that school, Stephen Gallagher was one of them.
Not a bad player.
And there was another one. Who was the Swede that was on that year? Now, don't get me wrong, there was 2 or 3 of the boys went on and played for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, and then never heard from them again. But if you're talking superstars that are still there, Stevie Gallagher was one. And the other name's forgotten me. But I remember the look of faces round the room when he said that.
Yeah.
And nobody's saying, "Shut up, what are you talking about?" People were going, and he's just saying, I'm only going by the stats for the last 10 years. The rookies, everybody sitting in this room, there'll be one of
That's
you,
incredible,
possibly two, will have a prolonged. You'll make a great career out yourself, and you'll be still on the European tour, and you'll be a bit of a superstar, Ryder Cup, whatever. And he was right; he was bang on. So
That's incredible.
I know. So you're sitting in that room.
I'd be sending my CVES1 job straight away.
But you're sitting in that room and you're thinking you're surrounded by
potential superstars.
You think yourself you're a bit of a superstar, but then when you hear the reality of that, it's right. And I remember that even when I played on tour, I mean, so you were talking about levels earlier, playing at Marhall and the Euro Pro, and you thought you were a good player, and you were, but
nowhere near that.
But that's you
10 shots around.
And that's you just as an amateur playing with kind of journeyman
Just pros.
Exactly. So I get onto the European tour, and the biggest shock I got, Gary, was my first few events. I'm playing with guys who I've never really heard of, but they've been on tour for 15, 20 years.
Wow.
They scrape their tour card. So I think back then, the top 115 in the order of merit kept their cards. These guys were finishing 110th, 112th every year, and I hadn't heard of them. And because of the ranking I was in, you were getting not the big draws for the first two rounds. You make the cut, you play with anybody, you play with Seve, Faldo, whatever. But and I remember after about 3 or 4 events, I'm thinking, these guys are on a different level from me, and they're barely scraping a living. So
that's a reality check, isn't it?
Total. So I'm looking at these guys. I'm thinking I'm a good player, and I'm looking at these guys, and I'm going, I haven't even heard of them, and they're not making a living out here. They're finishing. So
if you're not making a living at all, if you're just scraping through?
No, if you were finished back then, 110, 112th in the order of merit, I'd think then you were probably on the money list. It would maybe be 140, 150 grand, which sounds a decent, but
flights,
hotels, if you're playing 20 events, you're probably looking at 3.5 grand a tournament. So there's 60 grand right away, and then you're getting taxed on your earnings. So you need to eat, you need to have a beer, you need to do all that. So if you're earning 150 grand, less 60, that's you down to 90, and then you're getting taxed 40%. That you're down to a 40, 50 grand salary. Which
you get a real job.
Exactly. Totally. Yeah, absolutely. So but now, I mean, the money. If you're finishing 100th in the order of merit, you're making big money.
Serious.
You're now making
Mark and I
money.
Chatted away a few weeks ago. Actually, we chatted away and we looked at. It was a major. To be fair, the person that came 41st, 100 grand.
That's nuts.
100 grand.
Aye, absolute nuts.
You're 100 grand for being the worst at your job.
Exactly. I know.
Sycophantic. That's really what it is. If you came last, you've qualified, and I'm not taking it away from anybody. And remain nameless, but. I could only dream of being last every week in the PGA Tour, and I would gear up my life just to go and do that.
Yeah.
But they're millionaires.
Absolutely, and people talk about pressures. Now, if you look at the footballers, right, the high Premiership players, 200, 300,000 a week, they're getting that regardless. They're getting that if they're playing terrible. They're getting that if they're injured. They're getting that if they're out 6-7 months.
That's a good way of putting it.
You get a European Tour professional, a guy like maybe me, a rookie, and all of a sudden, and I'm missing cut, or I get injured. Where's my income coming from? So
you're right. You're selling your house, or you're begging sponsors.
So that's proper pressure. Where they talk about footballers, they're under pressure and this and that, and they're under the spotlight. Well, they should be, because they're getting paid ridiculous amounts of money.
Shocking.
And even if they play badly, so if you play badly in golf, if you play badly in golf, you're not getting paid.
No. Lee Trevino's quote was good for pressure, wasn't it?
For what?
Lee Trevino's quote on pressure. He says the modern day pros don't know what pressure is.
Yep.
Try and play a match for $5 and you've only got $1 in your pocket.
Right, yeah, super mix.
What
that's
a player,
right.
Do you remember the One Club Challenge?
That's right. Yeah,
I loved them on that.
Yeah.
What about your tours then? Talk to us about your tours.
So I run
you can go to 3 any order you want.
Right, so the first one I started up was called Get Back to Golf Tour, which is sponsored by Golf Breaks, who I'm an ambassador for up here in Scotland. I do a bit of work for them in Scotland and Ireland, which is brilliant, amazing.
So can I give you a shout if you need a wee chemical?
If you need a wee package abroad, a wee holiday with the boys.
Sounds good to us.
Come to us, no bother. So it was. I started up during COVID, and I remember sitting there, and I was concerned that my fellow pros, or the guys that it didn't affect me, competing, but I know the importance to keep competing and to have a card in your hand. And I'm sitting there thinking, our top amateurs in Scotland and the pros are not getting any competitors. Now they opened them up where you could go and play golf, but the clubhouses were shut and all the rest of it. Fine, all that
sponge thing in the cup,
all of that. You know,
shoot 6 under.
I know, absolutely. So I was sitting there thinking, and then I thought, you know, so I came up with this idea where we would run a tour where each event would be you would have a 14-day window to post a score. So you're not asking, you couldn't ask the golf club, we want to book you out for a full day. So basically, you could play in and all I did was I kept a spreadsheet, told the boys to WhatsApp me, text me what their scores were, and I would keep a spreadsheet. And at the end of the 14 days, I would reveal the results. So this was great, where they could just and they could arrange their own tee times. They arrange their own partners, their pals, whatever, the assistant pros or amateurs or club champions, and away they go. So still a card in the hand. They paid £35 at each golf course. The golf courses have been so supportive. And out of that £35, 10 went to the club as a wee gratuity, thank you. And £25 went into their prize fund. So if you had 100 guys playing, you had £2.5 in the pot. And I did it purely as a stopgap. And it was great fun because you could play on the Tuesday and all the pins are in the middle of the greens and there's no wind. Or you could go and play on the Thursday and it's 40 mile an hour winds and all the pins are
ready for the medals.
Aye, but that was just your Donald Duck. And nobody was bothering about that. You know,
just desperate to play.
Just desperate to play, desperate to have a card in the hand, desperate to maybe try and, I mean, if you won one, you would maybe get 350, 400 quid, and I would pay out the top 20%.
Because they're not getting furlough.
Exactly. So it worked brilliantly, and I ended up playing a few as well, and I really enjoyed it. And then, so I set that up in the June of COVID, and then it ran till the September, October, the season finished. And then all the boys start texting me, emailing me through the winter. Big man, can we do that again next year? We loved that.
Brilliant.
And that's it going our 5th year.
5 years.
So see how it
again,
works.
It's no stalking, it's research, all right?
So this year we've got 14 events. So basically the first event started in April. Where was the first one this year? Was it Arbroath? I can't mind, that's terrible. And then that runs for 14 days. So they all start on a Monday and then they finish a week on Sunday. So it's 2 weeks. Right. And then the next one starts the next Monday. So for example, Dalmahoy was on there the last 2 weeks. It finished yesterday. And Murray's Hall starts today for
cracking
the next 2 weeks.
Murray's Hall's a cracker.
Yeah, so the guys have loved it. And as I say, nobody's going to get rich playing it, but they're enjoying being able to play with their pals.
Competitive golf as well.
With a card in their hand. Exactly. So, and it's become very social. So I've got a WhatsApp group with over 200 of the boys on there. And it's really nice. So they'll come on, they'll say, I've got a time at Murray's Hall at 2 o'clock on Tuesday. MD want to play.
And just post you the score after.
And guys will jump in. Well, I do it all through Golf Genius now, which is amazing.
Oh, different class.
Brilliant. So somebody will come on and say, I'll play with you at 2 o'clock. And then there's a new friendship made. Brilliant. And so there's been lots of nice friendships made. So and then the top six for the top six, because it's open to amateurs as well. So it's for amateurs 2.4 handicap or better. So you'd better get.
I need to get my sticks practicing.
Exactly.
Need to get practicing.
Exactly. So the top 6 amateurs and the top 6 pros, they play in an end of season grand final at Dunbarney, and they've been amazing as well. Big Davy Scott, the general manager, they're a good pal of mine.
I've been stalking David quite a lot.
Right.
I've been trying.
I'll warn him.
Keep it word in for me.
I'll warn him.
Hi, David.
Be in touch.
I've not been in touch. He ignores me for like a week and then drops me half an email.
That's fine.
I'm going to drop in now. Have you watched me in Big T?
So that's been great, and the guys all enjoy it. And then I set up a daft wee thing called the Cat Canders Tour, which
is that actually Cat Canders?
It is, aye. So when I started at first, people were coming on saying, and I couldn't believe people didn't know what Cat Candid was. Like
that's why I started playing golf.
Well, and people were coming on saying,
some people say I'd be getting back to it.
But folk were coming on saying, is that for left-handed golfers? And I'm like, no, it's for people who hit the club right with the left hand below right, and if you're left-handed, it's right hand below left. So, and the reason that came about, I was sitting there one night, and this guy came on. There's a Facebook page, I guarantee you'll be on it. It's called Golf Courses of Scotland.
We will be on that.
You will be on that. You should get on that. There's about 35,000 on there, and they're all golf perverts like yourself. So
good company.
You've been great company. And it was just this guy randomly come on this night and said, I'm a Cat Candy golfer. I play at Dulliter or wherever. I play off 7. He said, I'm just curious how many of us are out there. So I just sat back and the thread started going, and I was amazed at how many cat-candid golfers there were, and they were from all over Scotland. And then this guy came on and said, it's just a shame we don't have our own wee tour or something. And I was like, oh.
Somebody else's fiver.
I thought, here we go. And I thought, so I just kind of put it out there. Well, maybe we could do it. And so, I mean, it's not, we've got one tomorrow actually at Glenbervie, another lovely course.
That's the ex-manager for Murray's Hall. Was it
Alan Reid.
Great guy, by the way.
Alan's been a great support as well. Yeah, so again,
he was good to me, Al.
So again, tomorrow, Glenbervie, they're paying £35 for a green fee. And again, some money goes to the club.
Price, actually.
More. So tomorrow a wee gratuity to the club. The rest goes in the prize fund. I mean, there's only about 40 or 50 members, and each event that's kind of 25 played. But you know what? So it's 7, 8, 3 balls. The guys love it. They really enjoy it, and they feel quite special because it's their own wee tour. And there was one guy, the very first one we had, I felt quite sorry for him actually. The very first one we had 3 years ago was at Montrose. And
another belter of golf course.
They're all good courses. There's no any bad ones in my wee tours, I have to say.
That's what happens, you've got the contacts.
Well, it does help, mate. It does help. But the clubs I work with, they see the bigger picture because people are very good at getting on and tagging social. Great day at Glenbervie, blah, blah, blah.
Power of social media.
It totally is. And one of the guys came up to him at Montrose and he shook my hand and he says, thanks so much. He said, I so enjoyed that out there. He says, I don't even play in medals at my home club because I'm quite embarrassed about how I hold the club.
That's shocking. That's garbage,
really? Yeah, and I thought, what a shame. I said, do you really feel like that? And he says, aye. And he says, this has been brilliant. I'm here with 25, 26, and everywhere I look, it's
like a mirror.
I'm like, I'm amongst my own. And I thought, well, that's quite sad, but at the same time, that's made me happy that I've made you happy.
So when I jumped in Mar Hall, go back to Mar Hall, I played golf with a guy called Paul, amazing. Well, I call him Nike Boy because everything was like in the big black Nike bag. He still searches for brand new Nike clubs, loves them. He's cat-handed.
Yeah.
So I remember, and this is the bad side of you as me as a person, is you're standing the first tee and a big lumpy boy to 6'2", 6'3", built, earring in and all that, and I'm like,
here we go.
A big massive bag and the trolley, and I'm like, all right, he's a golfer. Yeah. Brand new Nike shoes, Nike trousers.
Yeah.
You play a Nike shirt, maybe? Yeah. Pause out a Nike driver, cat-handed, and I'm like,
what's going on here? Aye.
Whoosh.
Aye.
So he changed from Nike Boy to Bullet Boy. You want to see how he hit this ball, by the way? I still talk to him. He follows us on AmEveryGolfer. Great guy.
Yeah.
Smashes the ball. Yeah. I'm going to tank him in this.
Yeah,
absolutely. Paul's a cracking player, great guy, and he's quite clever as well with the tech.
There's two or three of the guys play off. There's one of them's off 1, and then you've got a couple
Paul's
of guys
7 or 8 maybe.
Well, there's 2 or 3 guys are 1, 2 handicap, and I sometimes wander up to the tee if I've got time.
What's that gear draw?
You
should gear draw, shouldn't it really?
It's however you wait.
Saying that, if I want a Euro mileage, I'd need to tap you a $5 for a draw. I couldn't have a draw. Not for all the money in the world, by the way.
No.
And I play baseball.
Right, that's fine.
I can't
into a lot of overlap.
I've tried it once, but I lost a wedge or Hamilton's driving his fence because he just comes, I'm serious, I come whipping it. I'm like, oops, sorry.
Better change the grip.
Shouldn't the guy next to you, for God's sake, mate. I can't do it. I'm baseball.
Yeah.
Okay, day.
So, that's been great. The other tour I just set up this year, the Scottish Women's Amateur Tour.
That's going well.
Well, but it's going to be a slow burn. I think it's going to be a couple of years, maybe 2-3 years before it's really getting big numbers. And again, it started off as a bit of a joke. I know quite a few of the girls, and they'll come up to me in the last couple of years, Tatey, when are you going to start a tour for us? And I'm just assuming that they've got plenty to play in.
And now you've got plenty of time.
And I just said, and so it went from a bit of a kind of joke to, we really haven't much to play in. So,
obviously since last week we managed to get our first sponsor, which is an amazing thing, and we have a responsibility obviously to
and I think the good thing as well, and that's not interrupting you again, all right? No, I think the good thing is that we know Gavin.
I'm used to it.
And he's such a nice guy. I know him. So it's Gavin Gray, and he's from LCL Landscaping and Ground Care. And you can find him at info@lclscotland.co.uk. And if you feel like phoning them, it's 01698 446 753. And I would say a wee bit about them is they are Lanarkshire only trading standards approved landscape contractor.
Right. And I think that's a massive thing,
that's
obviously,
huge.
Because there's so many guys out there who are doing a job But the fact that Gavin's got that trading standards, like rubber stamp, that tells you.
See, when I spoke to him, that's what he said. He said it was all about customer care. So what they also do is they give you a 5-year warranty in all your projects. So that includes your decking, your fencing, patios, driveways, and artificial grass.
I was going to say real grass there. You got a 5-year guarantee on your real grass.
No.
It's going to grow for 5 years.
Who does? I mean, I've got artificial grass now, and I think it's brilliant.
Do you? Because you can just kid on your mowing the lawn.
No, I don't. I've got one of these wee rotovators that I can put stripes on it and then throw sand on it, and then Marcia does it for gymnastics. But also for Grant is that if you jump on his website, there's also some amazing client reviews on there for you, and there's a ton of pictures to go and look at. So Gav, thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate it, and obviously,
and we'll get you to game of golf.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll even get Grant to come.
Potentially.
I went onto the Scottish Golf website and sure enough they had 2 or 3 kind of prestigious events, the Helen Home Trophy, the Scottish Amateur, and then some county stuff, but that was it. And I thought there is a gap there for the women. And
midweek only.
So, yeah. So I started that. So again, they're getting amazing deals. So every event, there's 9 events this year, all 36 holders over 2 days.
Right.
And each event, it's £65 entry fee. And they're getting 2 rounds of golf. The very first one this year was Dornoch. So they get Dornoch, they get the championship course for and the Strui for £65. And then we went to Scotscraig, get 2 rounds there. Dalmahoy 2 weeks ago.
Golf course in the world, Scotscraig.
That's right. Dalmahoy 2 weeks ago.
Knowledge is a bomb. Golf pervert. Sorry, Dalmahoy.
Dalmahoy 2 weeks ago, and then we've got one at Monifeith, 2 courses there.
Monifeith
a couple of weeks. The medal course in Ashludy. So there's been about probably 50, 60 have joined, but we're only getting again 78, 3 balls per event. But the girls are loving it, and they've been great because I've said to them, look, this is your tour. You need to give me feedback. What need to do better?
What works, what doesn't work, what can we do?
Exactly. And a couple of them, I spoke to them at Dornoch. We sat, the girls were sitting having a wee glass of wine. It was great. And they said,
they're quite right to have a wee glass of wine.
Absolutely.
Did you join them?
absolutely did.
Were you staying up there?
Attendance. Staying up, aye. Okay. And they one of their part of their feedback was that they felt I'd brought the tour too late to the table because I released it in the 1st of March this year, which I thought wasn't bad. But they said, well, Alan, we've already got in our diary county stuff we're going to play in and family holidays and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, you're right enough. And then and there's no set, it's not weekends or a weekday. It's whatever the club can give me. I don't go to the club saying we need these dates. I go to them and say, I'd like to have an event here in June, July. What have you got? And they'll say, we can give you a Wednesday and a Thursday from 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, if that's what it is, that's what it is. So it's 2 rounds starting from 1 o'clock.
And the girls and women are all fine with that?
Well, that's just what it is. I can't go to the golf club saying demand it.
You're getting to play some.
And again, the girls have been great. They've been so supportive. And the other thing was I charged them an £85 one-off joining fee, and that's just I've got the Golf Genius license to pay. I've got more expenses. Of
course,
staying overnight. I've got guys doing my flyers for social media and all that. So I've got quite a lot of. And I'm not in it to make money, but I don't want to lose money. You know what I mean? So you do your bit. And then one of the ladies said to me, and this was great feedback, and she said that she had 2 pals who were desperate to join, but when they looked at the schedule, they could only play in 2 out of the 9 events. And they were a wee bit grudging paying the £85 when they were only getting 2, which I totally understand. Absolutely get that. So they felt, I'm not really want to pay that join fee, and I'm only get 2 events. So the idea I've got for next year is that you can join, pay your £85, you'll get all the events for £65, or if you don't want to join and you just want to turn up at one of them, it's £85 or £90. And so you're not... You can't even win the Order of Merit, or you can't even get Order of Merit points. But if you want to just
go and have a right good time, enjoy your golf.
And do you know what? See the girls that came up at Dornoch, 2 or 3 of them made it a wee holiday.
Granny's Highland Tame was booked out solid in the caravans.
I don't want to thank you for the granny, but there's a few young.
That's what the caravan side's called.
That's right.
I promise I was not calling any woman a granny. Unless
there was 2 of them. They came up on the way up. They played at Kingoosey near Aviemore,
right, Kingoosey.
And then in the way going back down the road, I think they played at Boatergarten. So they had a wee holiday. They were up for 3 or 4 nights, and they loved it.
They've got a cracking tour, actually. Boatergarten, King and there's another one.
Grant and Spey.
Yeah,
that's lovely.
That's massive, actually.
It's great. It's great. So as I say, we're only getting. It's encouraging that I've had about 40, 50 join, but I think with these changes for next year, get the schedule out maybe about October, November, and there's no reason I won't do that. The clubs will be happy to get it in the diary early, so as they can then plan a wee bit more and then do that bit with the joining fee, where you can pay the joining fee or don't pay a joining fee. And I think with those changes, I think that will be hugely.
You should work in manager saying about logistics, because the logistics of what you're doing, that's incredible, mate.
I wish I'd thought about it earlier for this year, but it's done now, and I just we'll get this year out the road, and again this year, fantastic. The top 6 from the net order of merit and the top 6 from the scratch order of merit, they're going to a grand final at Castle Stewart in September. So they're getting Castle Stewart free of charge again.
Right across the waters, Fortrose Rosemarket.
That's
isn't
it. Yeah, great.
Beautiful golf course.
Castle Stewart's one of my favourites.
That's outstanding.
I love Castle Stewart. So as I say, there's an incentive there for the girls to keep playing in the order of merit, to get in that top 6, to then get themselves up to Castle Stewart.
And don't worry, I won't ask you a favourite golf course in case you upset him. I won't ask anything.
I'll tell
you.
In
the world, favourite in the world that you've played.
Do you know? Well, I know my favourite in Scotland, Skibo Castle. I'm a huge fan of Skibo. No, you won't have. You can't get on there. They wouldn't let plebs like you on.
Don't let perverts on the golf course.
No, definitely.
What's your net worth? Just $1 million? No, it needs to be 10, pal. Beat it. You get tattoos? Aye, fuck off. That's what it is. Aye. What about the Macri?
The Macri, I was over there about 3 months ago.
Food's amazing.
I loved it. I'd never been over there. It was amazing. So Skibo's amazing. It's very, very exclusive. I'm very lucky. There's a pro-am there every year, and I get to
had
play
to throw that in, didn't he? Skibo, you wouldn't have played it.
No chance.
You wouldn't have played it.
No chance. Wouldn't have let you through the gate.
I wouldn't have let me up either.
Wouldn't have let you through the gate.
Quite right.
So, but the one thing about Skibo, it is a bit of a shame that the public can't experience it. You've got to, so anyway. But yeah, Skibo for me, and I'm a huge fan of Castle Stewart, as I said, great. But even
the putting green bit when you look up at the clubhouse.
It's brilliant. A great setting. And I just, Castle Stewart, it's the vibe when you go in. The girls are great in there, and the food's great. The guy at the first tee, it's just a golf experience from the minute.
What do you think the best area is? North or south or borders for golf?
Oh, that's
a peach, isn't it?
That's a tough one.
That is peach.
We're so lucky. I mean, I grew up in Ayrshire. I mean, you look at that Ayrshire coast, right along there. Irvine Bogside, Gales, Western Gales, Dundonald, Prestwick, Troon, then down to Turnberry, the list goes on. Then you get to East Lothian, North Berwick, Gullen, Long Midray, Kilspindy. Amazing. Great.
Archersfield, Renaissance.
All of that. And then you get up to Aberdeen now. I mean, Aberdeen's great. You've got,
Trump's good, isn't it?
Trump's fantastic. You've got Cruden Bay, you've got Royal Aberdeen.
Cool. There's not a bad golf course.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll tell you another one, lovely Bankery. And that part of Aberdeen.
Paul Laurie's new Macker as well?
Well, he's back at Saxton. Yeah. So Aberdeenshire's a great, but the big golf destination in Scotland now is the Highlands. People, and there's now flights going into Inverness regularly from London. So a lot of the American guys are flying into Gatwick, and then they're getting flights up to Inverness. I'd stay
a full week.
Oh yeah, you have.
You've gone to you do obviously I'd base myself in Fort William.
Yeah.
Or Inverness, and then you would go to Muir-Ord.
Yep.
Then go to Brora, Tane, Buckpool,
Galsby,
into Elgin, Galsby,
Dornoch. And then come down the road a bit, you go to Nairn Dunbar.
That's too posh for me. I would never go to Nairn either. I got took up into their private wee room.
Right.
And they showed us that's immense.
No, it's yeah.
And that was enough for a wee scumbag like me. Do you know what I mean? That was all right. I'm surprised you trusted me in there as well, to be fair, but that was all right with that.
A couple of trophies missing.
I said I won them.
Hanging up in your mantelpiece now.
The way you say, would you enjoy your golf? Look at one.
But no, I love the Highlands as well. I mean, but
I love Elgin.
I love Scotland. First, I'm so passionate about Scotland, and I think we're the best country in the world, and I've been very lucky to have travelled, and I'm such a passionate Scot. I just think
you can tell you what, it's palpable about the golf, big man. Thanks so much, mate. You're doing an incredible amount for the sporting industry that I'm obsessed by.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what, Gary? It gives me a lot of satisfaction, and the bit that pleases me most is when the guys put their cards in, or I get an email the next day, big man, and there's a shot 75 yesterday, didn't play very well, but thanks so much. I'm really enjoying this again, and as long as I'm getting that feedback, I'll keep doing it, because that you're doing a good thing, and you're helping Scottish golf, and you're helping people. Cat candles is a bit of fun. The get back to golf, you're giving good amateurs and pros more opportunity to play. The women's tour, you're giving people more opportunity to be competitive and win money. I mean, the women's tour, the girls are because they're playing for money that they normally wouldn't be playing for. So so as long as it's appreciated. See if it was people are coming up to you saying, "Oh, this is crap, and this isn't very well organised, whatever." You would soon get scunnered with it, and I'm a one-man band.
And you would take it personally, then I
would get scunnered with it, but I really don't. And you get the odd blip, but nobody ever comes on and gives me a hard time.
No, although I do stalk you on LinkedIn, I genuinely do, and all the stuff is absolutely positive.
Yeah,
it's all about what a great experience I had, and like you said, I think more importantly is that regardless of the score you go, golf is, for me, it's about...
Yeah.
I talk a lot of the time. I talk a lot of nonsense, but
I didn't notice.
That 30 seconds above the ball, I'm on it.
Oh,
I'm deadly serious.
You're in dreamland.
I'm like, this is for the Open.
Yeah.
This is for the Masters, all that bollocks.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. So anything at all that helps the industry, I'm all for.
Awesome.
You're talking about the women's side. Alison had a great comment to us when we were asking her about... She was playing in the team event.
Right.
I've actually forgot what golf course she was playing. That'll come in a minute. She was
playing
Stirling,
golf.
No, it was in Glasgow.
All right.
She went to play and the guy turned up and refused to play her. Because we're +2. I said I'd refuse to play today, but not because you're a woman, because you'd absolutely hammer me.
Make me look stupid.
That's how he's not played her. That's what we said. He's not played her because he didn't want to go to the pub later on that night and say to his mates, I absolutely got hammered, and it was a woman that beat me, by the way.
And do you know what? He should be getting in there going, I played with a great girl today. What a
100% should be promoting her.
Get behind her.
100%. 100%.
You know what I mean?
I can't no talk about Tiger. Tell us about Carnoustie.
I thought you might draw it. Did I play with Tiger?
I seen your picture, big man. I could not. See, when I looked at the website, I was like, big man, 20 course record. 24 years.
23
years. Tommy Fleetwood broke it.
Yep.
Knowledge is a bomb.
Yep.
I mean, that alone is immense, right?
I know.
That alone, and you've been really coy about it because you're didn't want to talk about it. I can see it in your face.
Of course I do.
But was it Ben Crenshaw's phone?
Yeah.
How does that phone call happen?
Well, he didn't phone me. No.
Did he phone my agent? Or did he phone your mammy?
Phone me at Codder Pro Shop and I'm in doing a regrip. No. No, the reason I got to play with Tiger and Crenshaw, it was bizarre. So it was a Scottish Open. It was obviously now the Aberdeen asset down at Renaissance. Massive tournament. It was the Bell Scottish Open then. And that year it was at Carnoustie. I'd shot...
Other whiskies are available.
Absolutely. Exactly.
And we'll try any of them.
Sorry, other whiskey sponsors. And I had shot the course record the year before. So it turned out that Crenshaw and Tiger turned up the night before the practice round and they went into the players' lounge.
Same big titty scorecard.
Well, Crenshaw had a guy, Bobby Milne, who was his faithful Scottish caddy. Anytime Crenshaw was in Scotland, this guy, Bobby Milne, always caddied for him. So they were standing there, and I was playing with a wee guy, John Greaves, who's a pro at Glasgow Golf Club. Right. So John and I have got our names up, and because we had qualified through the Tartan Tour Order of Merit, top 3, and like the PGA at Wentworth and another couple of things, blah, blah, blah. So it turned out that I wasn't present when the conversation took part, but Bobby Milne was standing there, and Bobby said to Crenshaw or Tiger, I'd be lying, whatever one he said.
They're both great names to lie about, exactly. Mate. It's
fine. He said, that guy playing at 11:31, he said he shot the course record here last year at Carnoustie. First guy ever to shoot 64, and he's an assistant pro for Glasgow. And Crenshaw, I think, said to Tiger, we need to play with this guy. This is perfect. And so I didn't know about it. And then John and I were down at the tee the next day, and then...
Don't tell me you just turned up and he was there.
Well... Folks start milling about the tee, and I'm thinking, what's going on here?
Twice.
I'm thinking, what's going on here? They're not here to watch me. And the next thing, the stands are filling up, and the next thing, Crenshaw and Tiger, come on, do you mind if we join you, boys? I'm not going to say no.
No.
And amazing. And to be fair, that was 1995, and I was actually more...
And he was built like a side of a fiver then, wasn't he? He wasn't the bulky was
tall, but I was more in awe of Crenshaw than I was with Tiger, simply because we didn't know an awful lot about Tiger at the time.
Crenshaw had won the Masters as well.
Crenshaw won the Masters 3 months before, just won his second Masters, and Crenshaw was always a hero of mine. I thought he was just like,
just a gent, wasn't he?
Absolutely, probably. I would have to say, of all the high-profile people I've played with, he without a doubt was the most gentleman, just an absolute fantastic. And I have to say, Tiger was great that day. He was only 20-year-old, but he was so. That was his first ever round of golf in Scotland, Tiger. When I played with him, and
you could sell that story, big man. Or have you sold that story?
No, the book's coming. The book's coming. And
that'll be a free copy sitting on the AmEveryGolfer podcast sitting there.
I don't know when I find the time to write a book, but I'll do it at some point. And but he was great, Tiger. He was asking so many questions about Scotland and all the rest of it, to the point I'm going, oh, here he comes again. Another question. And he's asked me.
Play golf here, mate.
He's asked me questions about stuff that I don't even know. He's like, I'm not a great historian, but he's talking about William Wallace and Battle of Bannockburn and all this. And what date was that? And I'm going, I don't know.
Come on,
I'm here to try to play golf. And then I remember walking down the 15th, and he comes over. And I see him coming over, and I says to Crenshaw, he's some boy this. He's asking me questions about Scotland I don't even know. And I says, he knows more about the country than I do. And Crenshaw said, and he laughed like you did there, and he said, Alan, he's unbelievable. He says, I do a lot of travelling with him. And he says, see, when we're going to a new country, he buys a book and he sits on the aeroplane and reads the book from cover to cover on that country.
Wow.
India, Singapore, Scotland. And he's sitting there on the flight the whole way. He was heading about. He wants to learn so much. Very clever guy, Tiger.
Aye.
And he was, I say, and he was over asking me questions. And I thought, that's great. You know, that's nice to hear. Whether he still does that, did that for years, I don't know. But it was quite nice that he does that, you know. So yeah, played the full 18 holes with him.
How did they play?
So Tiger that day lost 2 or 3. It was a practice round. But
did you pump him?
John and I played them. We got half match, believe it or not.
Crenshaw saved his betting, did he? Crenshaw was putting for 40 feet, probably.
Exactly.
What a putter he was, wasn't he?
Aye. We played them for a 5 and we had a half match, genuinely.
That's half a week's wages in 96, big man.
You're not joking. But Tiger that day lost 2 or 3 balls. As I say, it was his first ever round of golf in Scotland. And I remember his dad turned up and he was talking to and his dad said to him, you know, how did you get on out there, son? And he says, Dad, he says, you know, a couple of holes. He said, I hit a 9. I always remember this. The third at Carnoustie is over a burn. I don't know if you've played Carnoustie. It was that slight dog leg left to right over a burn. Not the longest hole in the world, but it was playing into the breeze that day. And I've hit it down there, and I've got about 140 yards to go, and Tiger's ball was like literally right next to me. And we've both hit irons off the tee. So it's about 140, but it's into the breeze, and the pin was up the back. And I'm standing there. And I always remember I took out a wee 6 iron, and it was just a wee 3/4, nudged it.
Just punch it up there.
Punch it up there, and middle of the green, and ran up at 10, 15 feet. Fine, good shot. And
like that's Blair's age, that wee 6 iron.
And I'm looking at him, and he was on a slight upslope. And the next thing,
it's going to balloon up there.
I thought he'd taken a 6 out his bag, and he took a 9 because he's just looked at the yardage, and he's just thought 140 yards, no bother, 9 iron. And he's hit this thing, and the height this went, I mean, it was, and you could see it stalling in the air.
Yeah.
Now so the pin was up the back, and there's a burn at short of the green.
Yeah.
So that pin was probably 30, 40 yards from the burn, right? And his ball landed short of the burn. Always remember that. And I remember his face, and he's looking at the
fright
caddy.
Of his life.
He's looking at the caddy, he's going, what's going on here? And the caddy, so, you know, and so he wasn't, I wouldn't say he was a great. He was a wee bit, dare I say it, clueless. A wee bit. That day, I remember he hit 2 or 3 shots. I'm going, that's not the shot. With your power,
they're so target golf orientated, America.
Exactly. And then, arguably, in my career, my life. Having looked at what he's achieved, I would say he's arguably the best win player now that ever lived. Because and say
he's invented the stinger, didn't he?
Oh, aye. Well, aye. And then when that year he won at Hoylake, you know, he hardly. I don't think he'd have wood out once. It was just 3 irons,
smashed the life out of it as well.
Brilliant, but. You know, back to Carnoustie, his dad said to him, how did you get on there, son? And he said, Dad, I hadn't a clue. A couple of shots. He said, third hole, I hit a 9 iron. I must have hit it 100 yards. He said, I was 20 yards short of the burn. And I always remember his dad saying, well, son, if you're going to win majors, you need to learn to play in the wind. And then, you know, 2 years later, he wins at St Andrews by 12 shots or something.
As if he'd been playing golf. Well, he did play golf all his life, but as if he'd played golf on a different planet.
Exactly. So again, he... You know, I was in awe of him that he absorbed all that, and he realised I need to.
normal being the edge like us don't really get that. We don't understand that. Although me as a golfer, in all seriousness, that's the kind of nonsense I look at. I'm like, how am I going to play? If I have one bad hole, I'm beat. We play 50 pence a par, a pound a birdie, 5 or 9, 5 or 18. So I'm beat every week. Listen, I get pumped every week. Half my handicap, I've got no chance. Unless I'm playing somebody who's scratch 1 or 2, then it's a match. But we talk quite a lot, and they'll smile hopefully about Roddy. So my best mate, Roddy, he's 12 or 13 handicapper, but strikes the ball better than me.
That's not Roddy the Proddy, is it?
That is Roddy the Proddy. Good man.
The
Celtic
Roddy
fan.
the Proddy, the Celtic fan.
That's that guy.
That guy.
And he's got a rescue that he calls the wand, and we're going to get it and frame it on this table at some point. And he hits this thing, and it lands like a butterfly with sore feet, and spins. He's a pain in the bum. Do you know what I mean? But he's the guy that. And a Texas scramble and stuff like that, he'd be the guy you'd want on your side. Absolutely. But he's the exact same. He is just. I don't understand Roddy's game sometimes, but I don't. And
we'll get him in here and ask him about it.
We've asked him about 10 times to come on. He'll not get away for his work. We'll get you on. But he's a hell of a golfer, Roddy. So I get pumped all the time with him. I'm doing money all the time. All the time.
We'll keep working.
That's what I feel, big man. Hey, I've got me here for you. I must have.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
I must have. That's what we were speaking about before that. So, Yako Sasso, who won the Women's Open. That's immense. What a story that is. So, she's learned to play golf, copying Rory McIlroy's swing for YouTube. So, we had a chat about with a pro who remained nameless. Because I don't want to put him under the he or she under the bus. I just said he, so it's a guy. He said YouTube is so beneficial for golf, but also so destructive.
Absolutely.
Because everybody turns up and thinks that they know every single thing about the golf course. And then we also asked them the other question is that what's the first thing people ask you when you come for a lesson? And it flabbergasted me. Because when I was a kid, it was all about P1. Get your P1 right, and if you've got a natural golf swing, it'll follow the rest. He said the first thing him to ask him is 20 yards. Everything. 20 yards. Does that make sense for you?
No, really, no.
I don't understand that.
No.
So I said to him, surely that the modern day equipment automatically gives you that 20 yards anyway. And I was talking to another pro who's got the Paradigm, and he said it's the hardest thing he's ever hit to move a golf ball.
So everybody just wants to hit it further.
Because when I was a kid, it was about, and to be fair, still my mentality, when I hit a golf ball, I'm still thinking, I need to hit a fairway. First cut I'm all right with, because that was when I was a kid, you played in a football park and put a can of beans in a bowl, and that's how you played the golf. But I look at some of these young boys, especially when I played in the counties, you're playing guys who are, no disrespect, they're 25 years younger than me, so they're out bombing you.
Absolutely.
And they're standing and they're lacing, and you're thinking, right, I'm breaking my back if I try and swing a golf club like that. But those, one guy in particular hit a ball that went 40 yards left, and he turned around and said to us, I struck that super. But all I can think about is, my first reply was, you better stick another one down, big man, because that's 3 off the tee, pal. No matter how well you hit that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you think the rollback's going to be beneficial or no beneficial?
I mean,
because it's not going to affect us, because we'll still be able to buy normal golf balls. It's just the superstars on the TV.
Exactly. Again, the best players will still win.
And does it still go? Does it go to your guys then on the tour? Will they have to play it because they're pros?
I think eventually. I think it will. But which I've got mixed feelings on it, because there's more and more courses now are having to lengthen their golf courses, and that's costing clubs money, and they're losing members because the course is too long, and they keep.
And it's not golf as you and I remember it.
No, exactly.
You hit the ball further than me, but when I was a kid, it was, and through my golf life, it was more about you being able to play the golf course, rather than just smash it over a tree and thinking I'll get to the fairway.
Absolutely. I played was it last year, the year before? I played in a PGA event in Scotland. I was out with two young guys. One was an assistant pro, two really nice guys, and I think it was maybe Strathmore. We played lovely golf course. And we came in after it, and I said to them, boys, that was great. I enjoyed watching you. How far you hit it? Because I don't get intimidated somebody sitting at 20, 30 past me. I really don't, because I know I can still get it around the golf course. Your irons are going to get it. Yeah, and whatever they're doing, they do, and I'll play. So, and I remember I came in and I said, that was great watching you boys. I really enjoyed that. And one of them turned around and said, you going to tell them or shall I? And I said, what? He said, we were out in the car park there saying, because these guys are early 20s, mid-20s. I said, we were in the car park saying, big man knows how to get it round, doesn't he? And I thought, really, were you saying that? And I said, we learned so much watching you, just how you went about your business.
That's what they need.
And I thought, that's quite nice.
That's nice, but it's what they need as well.
Aye, and they're right. And from that, we started chatting at lunch. And, I kind of said, well, that hole there, see where you hit it there. Did you not think from the tee that if you hit it there, you're going to leave yourself a trickier second shot? You'd have been better either a wee bit further back or get the driver out and bomb it as close as you can. That area you hit it to was leaving you. And I said, do you see where I hit it from? And I said, well, I checked where the toe was 3 holes ago, where the pin was on that green. So I'm looking around, I better not hit it down there because I'll short sight myself there or whatever. And we had a great wee chat, and I came away and I thought, I thought that's really nice. We had a good wee chat there, and we all shot about the same score. We're all about 70, 71. There was nobody 65 or 75. We're all about the same. So even with that amazing length that they have, they just as you said, I still know how to manage myself around the golf course.
That's what I think I scramble properly good.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the modern young boys and some of the modern golfers, like I grew up with Seve, Monty being the guy who was always pin high, Faldo, first guy ever to totally destroy his swing and go back and fix it. Amazing. Jose Maria, Arthur, outstanding. Great golfers. There's not many of them now. Shane Lowry. John Ram, the way to live, obviously. Well, for $500 million, I would go to live as well, to be honest. I don't really get that. So who's the wildest golfer you've played with, personality-wise?
Oh, personality-wise?
Are you allowed to say that?
I'll have a wee think.
I know I didn't check that question with you before we started, but I'm going to throw you under the bus with that one.
So...
And best story about them?
Who's been a wild one, really? Well, I've been up there probably with
you
the best of them.
You are absolutely, You absolutely are.
I wouldn't say I was wild, but we go, we don't. I think what I liked when I've been playing, and even now there's still a level of it. I'm getting up to playing the Northern Open this week at Cruden Bay, and and we'll meet in the pub at night, and we'll have with my fellow pros, and we'll have a few beers.
So you're going to say your fellow drinkers there?
Well, there'll be a few beers anyway, and so there's very few of them come in. I'm not, I'm not sitting my rogue sitting getting drunk, but we'll have a few beers and we'll have a few laughs.
You're away, you're work, exactly. You're playing golf, you're having a beer.
And laughs and all the rest of it. And again, you just wouldn't get that in the European tour. They are all away to the gym, or they're away hitting balls, or they're away in their room with room service, don't want to see anybody else. And again, way back in the day when it was Sam Torrance and Woosnam and all that, I remember Sam saying he felt as if he was on holiday every week. He's going to beautiful countries and he's having a cigar, he's having a fag, and he's having a few he's having a bottle of wine with Richard Boxall and all the boys and
Woosnam, must have been immense.
David Feherty. And he said we felt as if we're on holiday every week, and they got away with it because everybody else was kind of doing it. There was nobody. Whereas now you would never get that. You might see
Rory the Hangover. And Thursday,
absolutely.
Played suit. That's the best 64 drunk I've ever seen in my life.
Amazing. No, absolutely. So I wouldn't say there's any wild ones, but I say I enjoy the
social side.
I do.
What about Bob? Winning.
Oh, I just
outstanding, eh?
Unbelievable, honestly.
I felt a bit emotional, and I don't mind admitting it when his dad spoke.
I know
when he said, "I'm just a grass cutter."
I know,
and then he couldn't. Then after that, he couldn't speak. And you're like,
do honestly, Gary. So I've met Robert 2 or 3 times, and one of the times I did meet him was only a couple of years ago, and that was up at Oban. Up at his wee golf course.
The guy said in the telly. Oban, and his dad's a head greenkeeper, and there's only like 2 or 3 of them, and they played Shinty, will be a hard nose.
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ.
And the house is right in the middle of the golf course, and Robert just likes getting home. He goes back to he's got a flat in London now just for travelling purposes, but he's a real homeboy, and they all, he's part of the community up there, and he's just one of them, which is brilliant. But they're really humble people. They're really good. His dad, the whole family, they're so grounded. But the first time I met him, and I was so impressed by him. So he get beat in the final of the British Amateur in 2016. Can't even believe that's 8 years ago. And the very next day, he was playing in the SSE Hydro that was up at Spey Valley, which was a great golf course, which was a Challenge Tour event, but Robert got in it as an invitation to come up and play in it. So he'd just lost in the final of British Amateur the day before. Now, you win the British Amateur, you get in the Masters, you get in the Majors, you get everything, right? So I always think the British Amateur, it must be a sore one to get beat in the final, to be so close. You know, if I'd got the final of British Amateur and lost, I would have been devastated for the rest of my life, knowing that was my chance to play.
I can't go play a major.
Augusta, you know, Augusta for me. Wow. Forget the Open, forget the PGA. Augusta
I'm
for
an Augusta
me,
fan.
Huge. So anyway, Radio Scotland said, they phoned me and said, Alan, can you get yourself up to Spey Valley and can you interview Robert McIntyre tomorrow about his, getting beaten in the final of the Amateur Championship today? And I'm like, no bother. And then I'm driving up there and I'm thinking, this is going to be a tough interview. This boy is going to be in bits. Raging. He's going to be distraught. And
if you're a drone.
And I've got to sit there and talk to him about, you were this close to going to Augusta and the Masters, and you were this close, and you must be. And I was actually getting a wee bit worried that I'm thinking, because I was thinking, how would I be feeling driving up from wherever it get beat? I can't remember what it was, but driving all the way up to Aviemore, he'll have all these thoughts going through his head, what could have been, and I'm going to miss out on the Masters and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, because if that was me, and the last thing I'd be wanting to do is sit with a guy and talk about somebody, it. I really, that was the way I was feeling. And
I'd be too hungover.
Well, there would be that element. And Gary, I was sitting there in the clubhouse and I'd done my homework about, the final, how it went. He was up, he was down, he got a birdie there, pulled it back, how was he feeling? But I really just wanted to talk to him about how you feeling about not getting to, and how's it affected you? And he comes in and he's smiling, grin from ear to ear. And he just very jovial came in, and I'm sitting in the corner. He comes over, how you doing, big man, Robert? How you doing? And how you doing? And we sat there and I chatted away. I says, how you doing? He said, hi, brand new, magic, I'm fine. And I'm going, right, okay. And you must have been disappointed. But great to get to the final. And his attitude was just fantastic. There was no doom and gloom. I thought he'd be sitting there with his hand in his head, and he wasn't. He was just he was taking all the positives, and he was saying. So when we actually started the interview, so we had a wee chat first, and then I thought, I wonder if he'll, then when we're on radio, it might change. Not at all. And at the end of it, I said, do you know, Robert, I'm going to confess to you. I said, I was a bit worried about this interview today because you were so close, and I hadn't mentioned the Masters or Augusta. And I said, but looking at you and looking at your attitude, I'm comfortable saying to you now that I would have been absolutely devastated. And I was a wee bit worried about talking to you today, because if it was me and you were 24 hours ago, you were almost getting to win the amateur and get to all these wonderful trips. And I said, I'm devastated for you. And he was really funny, and he just says, big man, I've got all my life to get to Augusta. And he's going.
That shows the belief, doesn't it?
And he goes, big man, you're taking this sore than me. And I says, well, that's what it feels like. And we stopped recording, and I gave him a wee pat in the back, and I said, that was fantastic, Robert. I said, you have got an amazing future ahead, and I just loved his humbleness and how. And how it didn't. I thought that's not going to affect him.
No, I like how the first thing sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry,
I like the first thing that he said was, "I can pay my mum and dad's mortgage off." You're like, that's just him. And he's got his Augusta now, hasn't he? So,
he'll have, and
that's the first Scotsman. Didn't he won last year?
Yeah, it's been a.
Who was the last Scotsman then?
I'm going to say probably Sandy Lyle. Aye, because Sandy
Lyle won it, but.
To
play in Augusta? Last one would be Monty, wouldn't it?
In the Masters. It would be Sandy Lyle.
Sandy Lyle, was it?
Aye, because he was exempt as a past winner.
So he was. What a stupid boy, Gary.
So he was still playing up until about 2 years ago.
I love that.
2 years ago.
Sandy's bunker.
So I know. So and I think even Sandy Lyle felt, I think this year or last year it was last year was the first time he never took the invite, because he did take the invite, and to be fair to Sandy Lyle, even in the latter years he was always making the cut.
Always.
But then there was a few years in a row he was like shooting the 81s and 82s, and at that point you're thinking, thinking, right, come on, enough's enough. So
good quote for Seve about Sandy Lyle as well, wasn't it?
Most natural he's ever seen or something.
If we all play at our best, Sandy Lyle still wins.
Aye, absolutely. But no, that'll be Robert back in the Masters next year, which awesome, is fantastic.
He's gone for Ryder Cup again, isn't he?
Okay, he'll get Ryder Cup.
I would imagine so.
Absolutely. Even if he's slightly out, because he was amazing in his first Ryder Cup.
Different class.
And that doesn't go unnoticed. Even
Justin Rose really helped him, didn't he?
Exactly. So even if you're out of the automatic selections, if you've been a Ryder Cup 2 years ago and you had a good record, you might not be quite at your best, but when the gun goes, you will be. So I can see Robert McIntyre being a kind of another Poulter Westwood, where he'll be Ryder Cup for the next 10, 20 years.
I must hurt them. They've just mentioned their names. I must hurt them. They'll not get the Ryder Cup.
I think their bank balance might be making up for it.
It's not too bad. I got a pound, is it?
Exactly.
I don't know if I would go. No, they need to put an extra zero on there.
Well,
so go for a tenner and go to 100. I would definitely go.
But you're saying that about Westwood and Poulter. But I mean, to be fair to them, they've been amazing Ryder Cup stalwarts.
Westwood was an incredible player.
I mean, it really
I'm not saying Poulter wasn't, but Westwood was better than Poulter.
I know.
Would you rather play a major or a Ryder Cup?
That's a good question.
That's good, you know.
I've never been asked that before.
I'm quite good at it.
Can the major be the Masters?
Major can be anything.
Right.
Any major or Ryder Cup.
Masters for me.
Before the Ryder Cup?
Aye.
Wow. Yeah. I would have bet my mortgage would have said Ryder Cup. For me, Ryder Cup.
No.
I'm an absolute pervert for the Ryder Cup.
Right.
Solheim Cup as well.
Yeah.
And I've got a claim to fame for the Solheim Cup. So Stephen Peterson hold their putt at Glen Eagles.
Oh, aye.
I was the first person to post that on social media.
Oh, brilliant.
I took the picture and I sat there. You're laughing because I've said this about 10 times. As soon as it went in, I posted it straight away.
Right away.
And they answered me back. I was so chuffed.
Well done.
I was cutting about as if I just won the Masters, to be fair. No, I would like the Masters to be fair. Masters is my favourite golf tour.
Yeah.
Well, that's lies. Me and Mark argue about this. I don't quote the Ryder Cup as a tournament.
Right. No, I know what you mean.
The Ryder Cup's the Ryder Cup.
Aye.
And it's the best. For me, it's the best thing in golf.
It's great viewing. But
the Masters. I like playing the Masters.
You'll be surprised to know that I never watch golf on the telly. I can't be bored. I can't be bored with it, Gary. Genuinely.
Saying that you're that, but you probably don't have time. You're too busy doing spreadsheets and taking folks 65 quid off them.
It's 85 actually.
Sorry.
No, I don't get me wrong. The Masters, I plan my diary that I've got nothing on, and I never miss a shot.
I take a holiday and I'm saying
from about 6-7 o'clock.
I even watch the practice.
Aye, yeah.
So sad.
The Open, I'm usually busy. The Open, and then the final day of the Open clashes with the Bodwell Castle Pro-Am, which I always play in, and I love playing that, and I always play about 12 o'clock with my team, so I never usually see much of the...
You can score in Bodwell, eh?
Aye, absolutely. So I never see much of the Open the week, and then... And do you know why I can't be bored with it? Because... especially American ones, I don't know MD. If Tiger's playing, I'll maybe log on and watch for a few hours. But I don't know them, and the biggest thing that turn off for me is the speed of play. I sit there and I'm bored. I love you.
I'm
bored.
I'm
absolutely bored. Honestly, I'm bored out of my mind watching it.
I know Bob does it right. I'm saying Bob as if I know. I know Robert McIntyre does it right. Yeah. But see this whole standing with the balance.
I know, and that's what I mean.
See if you done that when I was a kid.
Oh, you'd have get lynched.
Honestly, we used to play at Cobbles on a Tuesday. That was their junior medal time.
Yeah.
Or the juniors, and my mate was a member, and he would take us, and you could only play on a Tuesday. And he used to tell us, see if you were caught on the golf course any other day, you would have got an absolute caning.
You'd have got a doing.
But when you watch them, Keegan Bradley, oh my God, man.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't know what I would say.
Yeah.
I'd be fearful of my PGA membership.
You'd end up.
But I'll say I'm the opposite of you about the majors, because I like to watch it because I root so vehemently for the British and the Europeans against the Americans in a normal major. I'm like, I hope he misses that part. And that's really bad.
I know what you mean.
That's bad.
I know what you mean. But no, Masters never miss a shot. Ryder Cup, I usually never miss a shot. I love that as well. But you know, the Honda Open on a Saturday night, Sunday night, I'm like, don't know them. And
I put my wife through hell for the golf. I put her through hell because it's always on.
I can imagine.
I'm really bad. I'm hard bad. I'm seeking help over it, but I actually try my hardest on it. But I would love. Have you been to the Masters? Have you been to the Masters?
I was there in 2007. I was very lucky. I got it. I was working for De Vere Hotels at the time, and I got through them. They had a big buggy contract, and the buggy company was based in Augusta. So they said, they invited 2 directors of golf to go out, and I was lucky. I was one of them. And the only part of the deal was that on the Monday, the day after, we to go to get a tour of the factory to see the buggies getting made. So, and funnily enough, they got the order.
All right, then.
They got the order. So I was there as a guest, and I'm not being grateful. I'm not being ungrateful here, Gary. Right? I'm really not, and I hate sounding like this. And people would think, "Geez,
what a dick."
Totally. Since I've been watching the Masters since I was a wee boy, right up until now.
Don't tell me to let you down.
2000, no, it blew me away. 2007, as a spectator, was probably the worst Masters that I've ever seen. It was Zach Johnson that won it, and I've never really liked him.
No for me.
And just that last day, he was always 2 or 3 ahead,
and he's slow.
He was always 2 or 3 ahead, and nobody got. Somebody would get within 1 or 2, but there was no a Tiger charge, there wasn't any charge, and it was just dead round. There was no great atmosphere, and the weather wasn't great the last day. But so I'm not being ungrateful, but out of all the Masters that I've watched in the last
that was the worst
45 years, that was probably the worst one, and I was at it. So I mean, can you imagine being in '86 when Nicklaus won or when Tiger won?
I would have probably been done for shouting at Nicklaus because I wanted Seve to win in '86.
I love Seve.
Is he the best golfer in the world?
Who?
Nicklaus for you?
No, Tiger.
Tiger without a doubt.
All day long. So
I think that.
So Jack is
I'm not a Tiger fan.
Jack's my number one hero, and Jack's for me the greatest golf sportsman that's ever lived,
without a shadow of a doubt.
Without a doubt. Yeah. And I put Tom Watson up there, I put Arnold Palmer up there, obviously, but. And I'm sick of hearing the argument. People. It's a great argument. Who's the greatest? Is it Jack or is it Tiger?
Definitely it is.
And a lot of people come out and say, "Aye, but Jack's got 20 majors. Tiger's only got 15. How can you say that he's better?" And I've just said there, and before I say this, I need to be clear. Jack Nicklaus is my all-time hero. I love the man to bit. A wonderful golfer, but Jack in majors back for a long time, he had maybe a dozen people to beat. Do you know what I mean?
Tiger had 50.
Oh, Tiger
50
probably more.
More than that, probably.
More.
Aye.
When you look at what major champions have thrown up over the years, Ben Curtis, Todd Hamilton, these guys, and you've never really heard of them again. That doesn't really happen then. It was either Palmer won or Trevino won or Nicklaus won, Gary Player, Tony Jacklin. There was only Weisskopf, Johnny Miller. You could probably name them. You could probably name who you had to beat. So, but that's not taking any away from you. You've still got to go out and win the tournament. But again, if Tiger would take Tiger back to Jack's days and you take the Tiger from today and put him, Tiger would have won 40 majors, in my opinion.
I would have.
You know what I mean?
And he changed golf metaphorically.
Absolutely. I quite like a bet in the golf. And
on the Masters.
And I remember, I think it was the Masters, and Tiger was even money favourite to win a major. And that is... and he won it, but I remember getting into the bookies thinking,
"You're at it."
No, I remember thinking, and I did fancy to. So I'm going to bet him, and I thought I might get 3-1 or something like that. And I walked in, and the Masters thing up, and it was Tiger even money. And this is like on the Tuesday, and the thing hasn't even started. I'm like, how can anybody be even money for a major?
Because golf is more subjective than objective. Do you know what I mean?
You're like, and as you said there, I mean, the Masters is usually about 90 people playing it. Right. Out of that 90, you could probably take away maybe 25, 30. Right. So it's. Right. I'm thinking they've got even money to beat the rest of the field.
How do the rest of the golfers feel about that? You think?
Well, because
some of them like a wee punt, don't they? Obviously, they're looking at it and going.
I know, and I think that
I'll take myself each way.
Well, absolutely, and I think that was part of Tiger's amazing success. Was there a fear factor for the other players, possibly, and I guarantee you that they would be going along and they would be up at the top of the leaderboard, and then you would just see the name Woods appearing. He's 2 behind you. Right. And it must have had an effect on them because they're thinking he's not going to go away.
No.
Whereas you would see other names in the leaderboard going, he'll
Rory,
pop up.
I'm the biggest Rory fan in the world, but Rory's guilty, and I mean this nicely, of 5 birdies, 4 bogeys. And you're like, Tiger, no chance.
No back in the day.
And then 12 to 15 foot putts, you might as well just tell him to pick it up.
Absolutely.
And it was pace.
It was
boom. You're like
frightening.
And I remember hearing him talk to his caddy just after Fluff. Who was an Australian boy, New Zealand boy? It was his caddy. What's his name? Steve.
Oh, aye, Steve. Aye, yeah.
He'd said, "I'm just going to take the break and I'm just going to hit it hard." And I was like, But it's Augusta, pal. That'll go. And to myself, obviously, it's Augusta, pal. That'll go 40 feet by. Or your next shot's a wedge.
Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes. Do you know he's the richest non-sports person in the world?
New Zealand, that's right.
That's terrible, isn't it?
Aye. Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible. Bad job for carrying a bag. That's it. Could you not tell Tiger about today, are you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I mean, Tiger for me, without a doubt, the greatest player ever. Certainly in my time. But I do love the argument when I hear people say, no, but it has to be Jack because of his record. And you can see their argument. If you're talking about record
just numbers.
Yeah,
he won 18, he's won 15.
Then Jack's won the most. No, you're never going to dispute that. Yeah. And I do believe in it. It never happened. It's a hypothetical thing to say. But if Tiger had kept his nose clean and kept out of trouble and kept fit and all that stuff, he would arguably be at 22, 23 majors now.
Because I say when he went, was it 5 or 6 now? A trot he did, didn't he?
Aye.
And they said that 7, 8 and 9, when he came top 5, that he actually played with massive injuries all the way through that. Yeah. And you're thinking, bloody hell.
Oh, his body's taken a pounding over the years.
His spine must be shattered. That's why his back's so big now, because that speed of that golf swing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you see him get to the far end of it, you were like, it was literally, we don't slag, but we say shuffling Scotty Scheffler. But Tiger feet were moving towards, when he wasn't in control and trying to batter the life out, and he was away.
Yeah, yeah.
And we are way over our time, and I don't want to be keeping you any longer.
That's all right.
But I could guarantee you, mate, I reckon I could speak here at 9 o'clock with you.
Well, you could speak on your own to 9 o'clock at night. You wouldn't need me here.
Mate, I just want to say, I don't care how cheesy it sounds, mate. That was an absolute pleasure, mate.
I enjoyed it.
And 100% we need to get you back on.
No bother.
And I might even pay your petrol money next time. I'm not guaranteeing you that, right? But I maybe pay your petrol money next time.
No bother.
Listen, mate. Thank you so much.
Very well.
I really appreciate that, mate. That was amazing, mate.
Very well.
Guys, thank you very much. I'm sorry I've kept you guys back.
Well done, boys.
I seen you growling at me with your specs on there. I seen you game there. I'm so sorry, but thanks so much, guys. That's the 10th episode. Thank you very much, Alan Tate. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.